Rejection Proof by Jia Jiang. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, because I don't want to do it alone, then make sure to smash that like button. Rejection Proof poses itself as a memoir, at least at first. The typical, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It's there. The story is there. I want to be the next Bill Gates, but the look where I am now, here's what went wrong, that's not something that I'm used to finding in these books. The author had some experience with rejection and began to see from a young age how it shaped his view of the world. It hit him a lot harder during an instance where it seemed like he basically put everything on the line into his first true entrepreneurial venture, an app that gamified promises, kind of socialized the promises that we keep with each other. And he was rejected by this huge investor and he put literally all of his time and money and everything into it. What is he supposed to do now? So he spent the next 100 days getting good at just handling rejection. He would go up to people and ask them questions like, can I have $100? At a burger joint, he asked someone if they do free refills on burgers. What does that even mean, bro? Things that sound almost kind of stupid, if you think about it. He would also log these experiences and he would put them online. And he would talk about his reflections of them. And they really inspired people and he began to amass some sort of a following. I'd like to add that the reflections of those experiences he had in the moment, they're really vivid, but they were very simple too. And I think that really well describes his overall writing style. Quite frankly, the author actually went through one experience which landed him so many different job opportunities. The type of job opportunities that you're like, I didn't even know I was qualified for this. One viral video he put up, it's always a viral video that does this, it quite substantially brought up the stock price of a multi-million, or I think maybe even billion-dollar company. I don't know if this company's worth billions of dollars, but have you ever put up a piece of content on social media that just got way more traction than you thought it was going to? Then you started tasting fame in ways that you could imagine it. Sure, you could imagine it. Let's say you could. But finally experiencing it, there's just something about it that's hard to believe at the same time. It's a very peculiar thing. That's what this guy went through. As digital marketing experts will argue, it only takes one hit to bring you to that higher plane of success. Then you begin to see more hits coming your way. In a sense, more people are gonna come to you being like, here bro, this is a hit. Take it and bring yourself further up the ladder of success. And you're like, what the hell is going on? What have I stumbled upon here? What if people didn't feel so trapped by their fear of rejection? What if rejection didn't feel so painful and personal but became more discussable? And what if we were able not just to talk about it but to really figure out a way to conquer it? If a person who feared rejection were suddenly unafraid of it, what might she be capable of? When humans feel physical pain, our brains produce, I didn't actually know this, opiates in order to lessen the pain and help us cope. Does this happen when we get rejected? Yeah, it does! Plenty of studies have been done on this. Just remembering one experience of this kind of fear can determine people to never make themselves vulnerable ever again. This is why I really recommend books like these, because they can help you prevent some of the most ridiculously crippling fears and anxieties. Maybe not prevent them, but just alleviate them and help treat yourself of them. But that's why people rank rejection so high up on their list of fears, even though it doesn't actually physically hurt. Whoever says that thing about sticks and stones may break my bones, that's one of those cliches that I would argue is false. The author began researching the hell out of rejection and all sorts of things that brought him a view on rejection with new eyes. Rejection is human. It's a human interaction with two sides. It often says more about the rejecter than the rejectee, and should never be used as the universal truth and the sole judgment of merit. This lesson and a few others I'd say at the end of this chapter together are so easily worth more than the price of this book. Just a quick reminder here though, I feel like I don't say this enough in these reviews. When it comes to nonfiction books, especially in self-development, the way I see it, expecting a book to change your life entirely, maybe it's not the best practice, but you know what is? Buy a book and look for that one golden nugget or two that will make such a big difference in a way that just makes the rest of the book kind of obsolete. And the only reason I'm saying that is that often it only takes one or two sentences to change your life more than anything else in the hours of reading or listening to the audiobook. And I don't know about you, but aside from what to talk about in my reviews, that's what I'm looking for. In the chapter Taking a No, I learned about arguing versus negotiation and turning a no into a yes. The magic word here is why, which can reveal the underlying reason for the rejection and present you with the opportunity to overcome the issue. I've never asked people why alone, like just the word why. Like, I don't know, there's something like unprofessional or pushy about it to me. I usually say something like, I understand, just so we can update our records. May I ask why? Fundamentally, sure. Yeah, it's the same, but is it though? It's almost like this book is the author's way of asking, what the hell can be done about rejection? He would stand on the street corner and give people $5 bills. Just give them $5 bills and see what they say. One person said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Another person said, no, I don't need $5. Another asked what the $5 was for, and when the author said nothing, he just walked away. Only 2 of 5 people said yes. I'm not saying that people are strange. Believe me, I'm not. But I do think it's very strange, the variety of responses that people gave this guy. In his experience, sometimes it depended on the place. This happened in New York. He asked 12 people in Austin, Texas, an area known for its collective, welcoming, quirky personality, to take a picture with him. And a few of them questioned it, or they were puzzled, but all of them did it. Apparently, if you give people a reason for what you're asking them, they're much more likely to say yes within reason, regardless of what the reason is. And the further he got into the book, the more I found it to be not exactly about just rejection, but about how to hear a yes instead of a no. In some cases, how to more effectively phrase questions, how to negotiate. In sales, there's something called an objection, which is basically an obstacle that your customer throws in the way that prevents you from getting them to move forward with the sale or close. Like, I have to talk to my wife or husband first, or this price is way too high, or I have a really unpredictable schedule and I can't make it in. Not to antagonize the customer by any means at all, but something in this chapter reminded me of that saying in sales, if you're getting objections, it's because you didn't overcome them before they had the chance to present themselves to you, if that makes sense. In the best rejections, the most effective and heartfelt, and the ones that just, they don't leave a horrifying impact on someone's self-esteem and their ability to get things done, the person rejecting will sincerely make it clear that they're not rejecting the person, they're rejecting the request from the person. On the other side of the rejection, once you are rejected, at certain times it can be hard to separate the rejection from yourself. If you have been rejected, you have experienced this, and you probably know what I'm talking about. How to give a rejection in this manner, the author talks about that in the book. I don't want to let all the cats out of the bag. I'm sure a solid drinking game would be like taking a shot every time you read or hear the word rejection. To me, the most impressive thing about this author, aside from, of course, his courage and his determination and his unique sense of purpose and what compelled him to do the quirky things he did and his drive to share it all, was easily his striking sense of resourcefulness. And I think this is a really important lesson that we can learn from this book. I don't know, to me it's strange in the best way possible how, with not much money or an organization or a company behind him, this guy grew a massive following just trying unpredictable things most of us wouldn't even consider doing in a very, very socially conditioned environment, mundane environment all across the United States. If it's of any further consolation, he did this after moving here from Beijing as a teenager, not knowing English. I found this more delightful to listen to than most memoirs. And I would call it a memoir, but it also has like a theme to it. That Beautiful Things by Hunter Biden, I guess that one had sort of a theme to it. And toward the end of that book review, I explained and I went in depth according to the definitions between the different, just how that book is still a memoir, despite what I had to look up what a memoir and a biography and what an account is. But this book just teaches timeless lessons that other self-help books don't. He even had a stereotypical Dale Carnegie moment at some point. Like, I looked and looked through every book I could on the topic of rejection and overcoming rejection and handling rejection, and I couldn't find anything. Nothing was specific enough. Sure, you might find something here and there, but I just couldn't handle that. I just couldn't stand that, so I decided to write a book about it myself. But in order to make money and build a following, it really does not require connections or family inheritance. You can do it with nothing tangible other than the clothes on your back with some faith and determination and good intention and courage. The next chapters, Finding Meaning and Finding Freedom, are about more insights the author gathered from his 100-day rejection challenge. And the next chapter is called Finding Power, and what he said about trying to be intentionally the worst salesman ever at South by Southwest. What he said about sales in this chapter seriously just popped. I always hated this saying about like selling ice to Eskimos. Like, why would you sell ice to Eskimos? If you're gonna sell ice to Eskimos, why don't you sell ice to Eskimos who are, you know, they're in vacation in Las Vegas and they're dying of thirst for relief in 100-degree weather? Because they would probably appreciate, and I'm sure that they would be much more likely to buy it and faster and more eagerly than the ones in Canada or Alaska. He also spoke about his experience getting his wife Tracy her dream job. You will never guess what company she works at. Actually, you might. But if you work in this company and you live in America, you win. You basically win. Please feel free to guess in the comments below what company it is. Quotes. Sleeping in the bed of a murderer and losing all my money was not the introduction to America that I had been expecting. The problem with insecurity is that you start feeling like everyone is going to reject you, even your closest loved ones. Referring to successful people like Michael Jordan and legendary Disney and DreamWorks producer Jeffrey Katzenberg, each of them saw rejection as wood on the fire. It simply added more ambition to the flame that they already had brewing. Rejection is like chicken. It's either yummy or yucky depending on how you cook it. You guys see what I was saying about that drinking game? Rejection, rejection, rejection. Direction 1. I recommend this book for, quite simply, anyone who has trouble with being rejected. More in a professional setting than anything else, but practicing it can certainly especially over time, translate into other areas of your life. Believe me, I wish I had a book like this when I was younger. The younger I would have been when I checked out this book, the better off I think I would have ended up. Direction 2. If you like this book, you might like Getting to Yes. Again, this is a really unique book. Rejection is not a very well-known topic for self-help books. Rejection Proof by Jia Jiang. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video, if you want to check those out too. If you guys buy anything through the links in the description, then I get commission, which helps me build this channel and keep making these videos. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it, but hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe, but if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.